Hi folks, Trisha Curtis, CEO of PetroNerds and host of the PetroNerds podcast. I am live in your nation's capital in Washington, D.C. I'm headed back to Denver shortly. It is March 7th, 2025. It's beautiful and sunny here in Washington, D.C. When I landed on Tuesday evening, I had missed Trump's speech, but I caught Chris Wright, apparently who got a shout out on the Drill Baby Drill during Trump's speech. But I heard Chris Wright actually get interviewed on Bloomberg, the Secretary of Energy, get interviewed on Bloomberg, and they asked him about oil prices. And he said he was not a trader and he was going to project oil prices, but he did say the industry was probably going to have to do better and do with a little less. And I think that's really what we're seeing from this administration is wanting to lower inflation. And the easiest way to do that is through oil prices because it's something that you clearly see at the pump. So I just recorded an introduction, a sort of recap of the market that I did for episode 127, which is going to drop on Monday. This is a conversation I had with Jason Isaac last week or the week before last on everything that was going on. But today what we're seeing in the market is that Federal Chair Jerome Powell just spoke. He essentially said they're not going to lower interest rates anytime soon, that they're waiting to see what the Trump policies are. You saw jobs data come out a little better than expected, but did not include the cuts from federal government cuts. And then you saw, you're seeing this kind of, I would say, oscillating volatility within the stock market, kind of wanting to move lower. Big concerns on tariffs are, how long they're going to be, who they're going to be on, everything like that. And on oil, I think the biggest moves we're seeing is that OPEC has said we're going to add barrels back to the market. That's a nod to the Trump administration saying go ahead and sanction Iran. We're going to add these barrels back for you, and we're willing to actually accept some lower oil prices. But also the Trump administration can refill the SPR, and the question is, at what prices are we going to refill the SPR, and where are we going to put this floor on oil prices? So that's hugely important. The other thing that's pressuring oil prices and European natural gas prices massively is this potential ceasefire or peace deal or truce or pause in the war in Ukraine with Russia. We had obviously the fallout. If you watch the entire press conference, I think it's a little different than the news media portrayed, but there was a fallout at the end of the meeting on February 28th between Trump and Zelensky. The media's covered it like crazy. There's a lot more to it than just that. But since then, what you've had is you've had Europe say they're going to, increase their defense spending, and you've seen the impact actually to their stock market and defense stocks. But you've also seen Zelensky and Trump and the U.S. essentially try to move forward with this. And so we actually had an announcement today that we're going to see Ukraine and the U.S. have another meeting, or a first meeting in Saudi Arabia. We had the previous meeting between Russia and the U.S. without Ukraine or without Europe in Saudi Arabia. So we're going to move forward with this meeting. So oil took a nod from that, and it essentially ticked lower, thinking that there might be a deal between Russia and Ukraine on the war in Ukraine, and that oil price would move lower. We've really seen natural gas prices in Europe move lower on this. You've actually seen natural gas prices earlier in February went from $17 an MCF or $1 per MMBTU down to now they're at $12 and change in MMBTU, based on the idea of the trading moves that European natural gas or Russian natural gas is going to flow at some point soon into Europe. Big question marks on that, and lots of questions on that, but that's what it's trading on. So with that, folks, thank you guys so much for listening. Episode 127 with Jason Isaac is going to drop on Monday. Can't wait for you guys to take a listen, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.